Governor Abdullahi Suley of Nasarawa State is promising to improve the lot of the people with disabilities in the state. The governor made the promise when he received a report on the assessment of persons with disability in the state as part of activities to mark this year's World Disability Day. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Samuel and Kelly, presented the report to the governor. Our correspondent Halima Gayam now reports.
There is ability in disability, and these pupils with hearing impediments are bracing the odds as they dance to local tunes. These works of arts were mostly done by blind pupils. They are marking the 2019 World Disability Day, and they want the world to know that their physical challenges should not stand in the way of their access to education. But funding has been a problem for the special school established by the Nasarawa state government to cater for all categories of disabilities.
To enable the school progress towards a model school, right now intervention funds to the tune of 100 million naira are needed to provide basic facilities, instructional materials and assistive technologies for the school and its vocational skills training center.
The event was an opportunity for the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Persons with Disabilities to submit a report to the Governor on the challenges faced by persons with disabilities in tertiary institutions of the state.
We are thinking of having Federal College Education for all the zones. We have one now in Oyo. It's called Federal College Education Special, where the manpower for special education are trained and released to the society. We don't have any in the north. If I want to speak now as the SSC to the governor and president, to the governor of Nasarawa State, maybe you take advantage so that Gooding can be cited as one of the federal college education specials in Nigeria. We can put the machinery together and modalities so that such things are achievable.
Now that you have given us the report, it will help us also to identify what we can do to support people with disability, so that instead of having them on the streets begging, they can find other usefulness for themselves, because that is the dream that we have.
This year's World Disability Day is to promote participation of persons with disabilities and their leadership to take action on the 2030 Development Agenda. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
Let's now go live to our Borno studios, where the president of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Mr. Ezekiel Ibrahim, is joining us on the news at 10. Many thanks indeed for coming. It's about 2 months since the federal government closed the nation's land borders. What's your take on this? What's your view indeed? Has it been really impactful to the extent that poultry products across the country are witnessing that level of improved production?
Good evening, Nigerian viewers. Actually, the closure of the border has restored the hope of Nigerian poultry industry. Before the closure of the border, we have entered into a very serious crisis because production is becoming below 30%. A lot of people, coupled with the flood, are thinking of even closing their farms. But with the closure of the border, now people are trying to expand. In fact, production capacity at least 70%. And Nigerian poultry industry has the capacity and capability of satisfying the Nigerian market. So actually we are having it so good. So, however, we really want the government to take up the issue of multiple taxation and allow zero charges on import of machineries, because actually we're thinking of mass production, because it's not only producing and making it available, but it should be affordable.
Let me get your views also on the poultry products being smuggled into the country. Can your association produce, or should I say have the capacity to be able to, produce these eggs, chickens, even turkey for the Nigerian market, so much so that demand can be met effectively going into the Yuletide?
Of course, for broilers, you just need 35 days to produce broilers on table. So as I said earlier, we have the capacity and the capability to meet up the demand of the Nigerian market. Of course, before the closure of the border, the import of smuggled poultry is almost 1 million tons. So people are scared because they cannot sell their product. But with the closure of the border, almost stores are empty, and farmers are trying to expand. And that is why actually we can meet the government prediction of creating 100 million jobs. Because the millers, the hatcheries, and the farmers will employ people. What we need is actually a little bit of tax of holiday, so that we can expand massively and produce at a cheaper rate that will be available to Nigerian citizens. Because
I must thank you so much indeed for talking to us. Mr. Ezekiel Ibrahim, the President, Poultry Association of Nigeria. I'm afraid that we're out of time, and that's where we can, that's how far we can go on that. You're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, reaching you live from Lagos. Let's shift gears now very quickly, shall we, to business news with Bisi Adebayo.
Thank you, Gimba. Welcome to Business News. Finance ministers and central bank governors from the ECOWAS region are making a commitment to meet up with the criteria that will fast-track the realization of a single currency in the region. This formed part of resolutions of the meeting of the government officials, which ended in Abuja today. Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, had said yesterday that the 2020 target for the single currency in the region might not be achieved given the economic realities of most member countries. But at the end of the meeting, they resolved to transmit the recommendations to the heads of government of the ECOWAS region. The African Development Bank is collaborating with the federal government to speed up the process of project implementation across the country. According to the country director of the AFDB in Nigeria, Mr. Ibrahim Fall, the agency, however, would want the government to speed up approval process and procedures that will facilitate speedy delivery of critical projects.
We have almost double the size of the staffing in Nigeria, and that shows that we want to be close to the operations and to understand and to also partner with the government. We also, the second lesson also would be that preparation, in most cases, the money to invest is not the problem, but the preparation of the projects to bring them to bankability is a challenge. So there's a need to make sure that adequate project preparation is being done across the federal government and also across the states. The third area is that the project implementation units tend to lack capacity in implementing projects, which can lead to delays. So what we are doing to mitigate that is with our presence now on the ground, we can meet with the project implementation units very often, more often than we could have if we are not fully equipped on the ground. So that is also helping the process of implementing projects in Nigeria. Other delays, other things that we're discussing with the government are more procedural and process-driven. For example, once projects are approved, they have to go through the FEC and also through the Attorney General, and that sometimes could take some time. So we're looking at ways of how to make that process a little more smoother than it is right now.
Let's head to the Nigerian equities markets now, which ended the first trading week of December downbeat as sentiment turned negative after 4 consecutive weeks of gains. Now, losses were recorded across the 5 trading sessions of the week, pushing the all-share index down 0.54% to 26,855.52 and a market capitalization of 12.96 trillion naira. Significant losses recorded in the industrial goods and banking sector dampened the market performance after the indices shed 1.27% and 1.16% each. The insurance and oil and gas indices also closed negative. The total turnover of 952.69 million shares worth 12.77 billion naira in 17,279 deals were traded by investors this week. 19 equities appreciated in price during the week, led by Royal Exchange Assurance and Unilever with over 17% gains, and Cornerstone Insurance led 35 losses recorded for the week. Traders expect pockets of gains in the coming week as fund and portfolio managers realign their portfolios prior to the start of 2020. And that's it on Business News. Thank you for watching. I am Bisi Adebayo.
Wife of fallen heroes and orphans from different parts of the country today got some assistance that will help them cope with difficulties occasioned by their unique circumstances. They can now start small businesses thanks to the Milk of Kindness from the wife of the National Security Advisor and founder of Precious Little Life Initiatives. This was at a fun-filled event in their honor in Abuja.
It's a day under the Abuja sun for orphans and spouses of fallen heroes. For them, survival has been a struggle, with a bleak future staring them in the face. Help has come through the Precious Little Life Initiative, PRELI. The initiative's goal is to rekindle hopes for the widows and children.
We will not and should not forget their sacrifice. That sacrifice which will never, ever be in vain.
On hand to support her are her husband and National Security Advisor, the Minister of Sports, wife of the Inspector General of Police, and wife of the Kwara State Governor, amongst others.
It not only impacts on their lives, it impacts on their children's lives. The fallout is also that people that depend on them also get to enjoy.
It was a fun-filled affair, both for orphans and guests alike. The beneficiaries express gratitude.
I would like to say thank you. I may the Lord God, we all serve, bless them in the mighty name of Jesus.
Fito suka tuna mana Ubangiji Allah mun musu da shaka. Allah saka da alheri. Kuma sauran sojojin mu da suke kasa Ubangiji Allah rufa masa asiri.
An gode sarai inda kuka dauke nan Ubangiji Allah ya mai muku da dubunsa. An gode, an gode, an gode.
Mrs. Monguno says PRELI is a project she finds joy in and plans to keep it alive.
Those with upper hand, I believe that they should look down and help those that are less fortunate, because you could be in that situation yourself. You know, no condition is permanent.
Wives of fallen heroes are often abandoned and left to cater to their children. Assistance such as this is expected to provide a cushion. For the orphans, this show of love has numerous benefits as they look to succeed in spite of their situation.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Manchester United triumphed in the 179th Manchester Derby at the Etihad Stadium. That's on Sports News.